What is up, everybody? Happy New Year. Hope everyone had an amazing holiday, spent time with family, got to open gifts, got to have some fun, take some time off work. I had an amazing holiday, and right now I'm just honestly really excited for the new year, and I'm sure everyone else is too. I mean, the new year always brings that like sort of motivated mindset to life. But yeah, I'm just pumped. I really wanted to come on here and make a podcast episode. I said that I was going to be doing these behind the frames podcast episodes every now and then. It hasn't really happened as much as I had planned to do it. But I figured this was as good of a time as any to jump on here and kind of talk about the new year, what it looks like, what I want to accomplish, and maybe give some motivation along the way. I have a ton of plans for the new year, but I think after going through this so many times throughout life, of hitting these moments, these highs and lows of feeling really high and motivated and pumped to feeling really low, I think the key, the word for my 2025 is sustainability. Obviously, I want to achieve all these goals. I want to do all these big things. I want to have a blast. I want to achieve everything. But the key for me is sustainability. I actually just made a video about this. I just released it a couple days ago. Go check that out if you haven't already, where I basically just kind of talk about how this has sort of just been a routine. There's a pattern here of, you have these goals, you set all these goals, and then one by one, week after week, those goals drop off. And then next thing you know, you're back in the new year wondering what the heck happened. And then you do it all over again. You set your goals, you get super pumped up, you get super motivated. I think in my head, I really believe that it's great to have goals. It's great to have big ambitions, but it's also super important to understand that it's not just about what you can do in a year. It's about what you can do in 5 years, 6 years. And I think it's more important to have that mindset than it is to be like, I'm going to get as much done as possible in 365 days. I think having the long game mindset, understanding that, hey, I can do my best this year, but what's more important is what I achieve in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And that kind of, for me anyways, that takes a lot of pressure off my back of feeling like I have to make these big grand pushes to try and accomplish something in a year. And when I've done that in the past, it has almost always resulted in some form of burnout and just feeling down, feeling like I'm not accomplishing enough. But I think it's helped me a lot to kind of just have this more like, hey, let's just focus on progress every single day. Whether it's one thing I do, two things, whether it's a big step or a small step, progress is progress, and overall it's going to compound into the overall picture, the big picture. And I'm not saying that you have to do the same thing, but I know for me, who in the past has had a habit of self-sabotage, for me, it's really important to kind of take things in those bite-sized pieces, take things one thing at a time, because if I don't do that, I inevitably end up just throughout that year, essentially just treading water. I didn't really move forward. I didn't move backwards. I'm just in the exact same spot. So that's really my big focus, is sustainability. And also, I think it's important to acknowledge that, New Year it's a great time. Everybody gets super motivated. It's new year, new me. You set your goals, you set your ambitions. And I think it's important to acknowledge that motivation is not enough of a thing to rely on to get you to meet those goals. There's motivation, inspiration, and then there is your why behind what you're doing. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And I kind of think that why is more important than being inspired, and it's more important than being motivated, because really it's going to take discipline. You're not going to want to do the things that you set out to do every single day. There's going to be times where you're like, man, I would rather just lay in bed all day and watch TV than try and I don't know, go and work out like I said I would every single day. It's more important to, like, along with setting those goals, you know, having a subcategory, a part of those goals of like, what is the why behind this goal? Why do I want to achieve it? What is it going to do for me? What is it going to do for me? What is it going to do for others? And I think having that clarity really helps to push through those times when you don't feel like doing it, because instead of relying on your motivation to push you through, you can actually more so visualize why you're doing it, like what the end goal is, what is the big picture here, like why do I want to make this much money? Do I want to, maybe it's because I would love to treat my parents who have always supported me throughout my life. That's why I want to make more money, is so that I can do something for them. Anyways, I think having a strong why behind every single goal that you have is just as important as having the goal. And it's what's going to get you through on those dark days, the days that you don't feel like doing it, because motivation just isn't enough. Motivation or being inspired, it's just not enough to take you through the 365 days of constant action. Consistency and discipline are everything. And it kind of just overall goes into that word of sustainability. How can I sustain this? And the best way to sustain it is to not have motivation be the thing that's going to get you through it. When you follow along that new year, new me, I think that puts a ton of pressure on you to just feel like you have to be on top of it the entire time. You have to be perfect. And I talk about that in my recent video too. And that's just, you really want to eliminate as much of that pressure as possible. It's like, although it's a new year, you do need to kind of treat it as it's just another day. It's just another day, but you're working on progressing every single day, instead of being like, yeah, I have to completely redevelop who I am as a person within the next week and a half. It's like, no, you're just working towards that better version of yourself. I think just as much as meeting goals is a physical thing, it's even more a mental thing. And I think if you have the strong why, if you have that brick by brick mentality and you just focus on small steps every single day, then I think you'd be really shocked on how far you've actually come at the end of the year. 2025 for me is going to be a very different year. I feel like 2022, 23, and 24 was a lot of me making those harsh realizations and sort of going back and fixing mistakes that I've made. And 2025 finally feels like I'm at this place where I know what needs to be done. I know what needs to be done because I've learned what not to do. I feel like I'm finally in a place where I have all the tools in my toolkit and I just need to bring it all together. Which is just super exciting. I mean, I know that sounds a little bit cryptic, and I'm sure a lot of you don't really know what it is that I'm trying to achieve. But first of all, let's talk about the obvious thing. This YouTube channel is a big one. I finally feel like I'm in a headspace right now where I am just creating because I enjoy creating, which feels so good to me. I don't know if you guys saw, but any of you who have been following me for the past 4 or 5 or 6 months, I released a video. Let's see, it was June 29th, 2024. I called it "Why Done is Better Than Perfect." The power of posting imperfect videos. In there, I have a quote that says, "I don't want to keep doing this." And in this video, this was me. I made this video because I wanted to come out and sort of just lay it all out there, lay out how I'm feeling, kind of challenge myself in saying that, hey, I'm not going to sit here and try and overanalyze anything anymore. I've created videos and I haven't released them because I didn't think they were too good. I didn't think they were good enough to release. Now I'm just going to say, heck with that. I'm just going to start making things. If I have an idea and I want to make it, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to post it, because posting is a part of the process. Posting is a part of learning and trying to be better. And I finally feel like I'm in a place where I am just creating without being steered in any direction. I feel like I'm creating just because I want to create. And it's been nice too, because every video has challenged me to try and get better. And this is actually really funny. Every now and then I'll get comments on videos, telling me that the video is horrible or something like that. And they don't affect me at all. I literally could care less what anybody thinks. But in my last video, the one I just released, which I actually genuinely thought was a really good video, I worked very hard on it. If you want to go check it out, check it out. And I got 2 comments from 2 different people saying that the audio was terrible, the music was too loud, it was absolutely god awful, it's like unwatchable. It was a little bit exaggerated, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm reading these comments and I'm like, and they're like telling me that I should delete the video and fix it and re-release. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna freaking do that. I went back and watched it. Honestly, I didn't think the audio was I wouldn't say it was unwatchable, but it's like things like that where like I am learning. Part of learning is releasing the video. I'm not going to undo the mistake. I'm going to let the mistake live on, and I'm going to fix it in the future. I'm going to make better videos moving forward. And I think that's been the really, really exciting part about this YouTube channel, is because I'm having a lot of fun in the process, which is just not how I was in the past. In the past, I was very, very critical of everything that I made, everything that I was going to post, and it kept me from making things. And then I think this is a big lesson to anybody who's looking to create in 2025. Really, you have to understand that part of growing isn't just making the thing, it's also releasing it. You have to release it. Whether it's good enough, whether it's perfect, whether you think it's terrible, if you made it, I'm telling you, I don't know why, but posting it is a part of that process that is going to make you better. I 100% stand by that. I think it's helped me in a massive, massive way. I think it's also helped me kind of just create without the weight on my shoulders. I'm just making because I want to, not because I'm worried about how well it's going to be received, how many views it's going to get, how many subscribers it's going to get me. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm just focusing on my process to become a better storyteller and videographer, cinematographer, filmmaker, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure, I'm almost positive any of you who have dabbled in it have probably made the videos and you just haven't posted them, or maybe they're private or unlisted. You really need to get out of your head, and who cares what people comment on it? Who cares if somebody's like, this is a terrible video? Post the video. It's going to do less for the quality of the video, but it's going to do a lot for your mentality, going into it and then moving forward onto other videos. Post it and forget it and go on to the next. Post it, forget it, go on to the next. And every single time you make a video, try and be better. That's super important. If all you do is make these videos and you just let them live on a hard drive on your computer, you're not doing anything for yourself. You're living in your own head the entire time. You're not getting any outside perspective. You're just in your own world. You need to give the people the opportunity to see your work for what it is rather than what you perceive it to be. And then past that, there are a lot of things that I really want to do community-wise that I'm building here. I really, really, like, more than subscribers or anything, I want to create a community of like-minded makers, not people who are videographers or photographers, but people who just like to make things. You can be a photographer, but I am looking for people who just love the act of creating. And I really want to figure out a way to bring all of that together, to bring everybody together, to talk about projects they're working on, to help with projects that they're working on. I've been thinking about doing a Discord. I don't really know how Discord works or anything like that. I feel like that's the way to go. I don't know if any of you guys have any suggestions for that. Let me know, because I would really love to get that started soon, to get people in there, get people chatting. And it would just be an environment like where people can talk about everything going on, talk about the work that they're working on. I'll even go on there and talk about what I'm working on, because here's the thing. I'm no expert. I'm not going to sit here on this YouTube channel and act like I am a professional cinematographer or storyteller. I'm a photographer at heart. I'm just somebody who has a dream to be a good cinematographer and a good storyteller. And this is just my process of making these videos. And I've always throughout my life kind of been a notorious non-collaborator. And now I really feel this drive to collaborate more and to talk to more like-minded people. And I would love to make something where everybody can kind of connect, and it would obviously be free. I'm not going to like charge anybody for that. But yeah, so let me know if you have any suggestions. If you're a maker, if you're a painter, a photographer, a videographer, whatever you are, if you create things, I would love your suggestion on this. And then outside of the YouTube channel, you know, I'm working on my 2 businesses. Right now, I'm kind of working more on wedding films than I am on my business to business stuff that I was doing, mainly because it's January 2nd as I'm making this video. And right now is really the time where you start booking out your summer for wedding videography and photography. So I'm really trying to focus on booking out my summer as much as possible to fill that up. And then the other business avenues I want to take, I'm going to take that after I get my season set up, because that is wedding films, at least for 2025, will be extremely important for me financially until I get the other avenues of revenue set up. But right now, my wedding video business is definitely top priority over everything. And then I'm obviously, you know, I'm working on myself. I'm working out every single day. I have a plan to run a full marathon in October of 2025. Just trying to be better, trying to feel better, because that's the other thing is like, I'm trying to be more athletic to help me be a better creator. A YouTuber by the name of Henbu, Henbu, he released a video last New Year's, and there was a line in there that really stuck with me. He said something along the lines of create like an athlete when it comes to creativity. And that also goes with treating yourself like an athlete, eating well, you know, training hard so that you can feel as best as you can possibly feel, so you can create at your best. You can create at 100%. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's like, I've dealt with like tension headaches in my neck. I've dealt with stomach pain and just pain from, you know, self-inflicted pain, honestly, from eating terribly, from, you know, I don't even know, bad posture. And it always affects my ability to come in here and make videos, because I just don't feel good. And when you don't feel good, you're not going to create at your best. So that's another big aspect, is just me focusing a lot on my health and wellness. And yeah, and also just my brain too. This is actually a good book that I should recommend. This is a book called The Mountain Is You. It's by Brianna Wiest. This is a great book. I listened to the audiobook version of it, but I feel like I struggle when I listen to audiobooks because I don't really like capture the message. So I bought the book and I started reading yesterday. The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. This is a great book if you're somebody who kind of has that self-sabotaging mindset. I know that's a big thing for me. This kind of talks about like, what is self-sabotage and how do you like rework your brain to avoid it? So I'm really excited about this. 10 out of 10, definitely recommend reading this book. You know, I'll just go on to book recommendations right now, because why not? I have more books, but these are the ones that I'm going to suggest right now. So the first one is Steal Like an Artist, Austin Kleon. This is a great book, very quick read. This is, you know, good at just kind of explaining what art actually is, and it kind of helps you get out of your own head of feeling like you're, I don't know, copying people. Talks about how nothing is original. Great little book, easy read. Next book is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Another great book, you know, kind of helps you just get rid of ego, honestly, because the ego is the enemy, obviously, as the title says. Next book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another really good book. 10 out of 10, recommend this. I think if you're going to kind of dive into this self-help world or entrepreneurship, this is a must read, because it just talks about, you know, how do you actually build sustainable habits to meet your goals? That's a very basic explanation of it, but really good book. Another really great book is Can't Hurt Me. I did 75 Hard 2 or 3 years ago, and I read this book. This is such a great book. David Goggins. I've heard people talk about how the audiobook version of this is better because it's David Goggins actually reading the book, and his voice is very powerful and motivating. You know, like I said, I don't prefer audiobooks, but you can try either one. Really, really good book. Just talking about, you know, being uncomfortable and learning to push through that discomfort and pushing yourself to be better. And then last but not least, probably my number one favorite book for anyone, even especially artists, is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, or FUC. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's what it's called. It's by Mark Manson. A counterintuitive approach to living a good life. Okay, there's actually a good explanation here. This book covers Mark Manson's belief that life's struggles give it meaning, and argues that typical self-help books offer meaningless positivity, which is neither practical nor helpful. Now, the reason he says that is because, like, one thing that this book talks about a lot is this constant desire for happiness in itself results in negative emotions. Real happiness comes when you accept life for what it is, and you accept that those bad times, the negative things that happen, are all part of growing, are all part of being better and stronger. You really got to read it to get the full understanding of it, but definitely would recommend this one. Anyways, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.